Alright, hey everybody, we're continuing along with more of the best builds for different commanders. We are again starting off with all of the easy expos, and I am moving on to Stukov. Now I know Team Liquid offers a 15 refinery and then goes into other things. I actually prefer to go CC first on 15. I'll go over the rest of the build as I do it, but it's less to do with supply counts and more to do with different times that buildings are done, but I do have some pretty solid supply counts. Anyways, depending on how far away your expo is when you're going to move things, but I usually run around 200 supply, but I want to do a 15 command center. And I try to make sure that the command center is the bottom of it is basically opposite the two other gas geysers. But as soon as you finish making that command center, as soon as making it, you're going to go ahead and get an overlord at 15, and then as soon as you get to 150 supply after that, you're going to make a barracks. This one I'm going to rally over to my gas geyser, so as soon as that's done, I can start working on gases. Well, maybe not exactly as soon as, but I'm going to get to 19 supply here, and then I'm going to stop making workers so that I can get my infestation level 1 done as soon as possible. So I'm at 19 supply. I'm just going to start right here. My partner's just working on his rocks. But right now we're just going to do a little bit of downtime. I do have this rally to here so that as soon as it's done I can make a few workers, but this should be done around the exact same time I get to 400 minerals. Yes, if you comment anything in this video... Oh god, wrong one. I can't believe we did that. Anyway, so we're going to get that. Now we'll get to 22 supply. I made a little bit extra because I did, for some reason, make an infested worker. Now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and lift it, move it to here, and infest. And I'll make sure everything attacks the rocks. While we are waiting, we're going to go ahead and get that done. And then we're going to use our Apocalypse for the first attack wave. Now that I've done there, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Go ahead and check back over here, make sure everything's good. Get this down.
The first geyser should be opening up soon. I'll send a bot out for it when it does.
Saturate our gases and change our rally point. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and drop here. And we'll set this to move around, and then set my infantry to move a little different areas. As soon as we get to 100 gas, we'll make sure to get this one, because that really does increase the damage of your infested by a ton, and it allows us to continue to keep going. I'm going to get 36 supply, and I'll make 2 overlords. Something that happens a lot with Stukov, if you're not aware, is that you constantly end up running low on supply if you don't make your overlords preemptively, and you're always going to be a little behind when it comes to a couple different things. Once I finish making those overlords, I go ahead and go right into an engineering bay, so that when this is done, I can work on my next upgrade. Now that I got those 2 out, I'll go ahead and get a bunker here. And I'm just changing the rally point here. Again, every mission has its slight differences about what you work on after you finish certain things. But I like to get my 2 bunkers here so that I can start working on gases. That's helpful. This should be done in just a minute, and then we'll get this. And then that way, as soon as these are done, I can clear my rocks. Once I clear my rocks, I can move them over here. Now that this is done, I'm going to change my rally point to my next area to make sure that I have a chance to spawn my Alexander in the proper location.
It's scared, so you should keep it company.
It starts a little bit quicker.
The Alexander
Flies
again. This is only temporary.
We're getting close to getting max on supply, so I'm going to make another overlord.
Woo, my
This is almost done, so we'll get this.
Tea time.
And I like to always make sure that as soon as I spawn any of my calldowns, I'm immediately putting them on a control group. This will help to make sure that you can utilize them as fast as you can, and that you don't have to worry about anything else. Now, it's really easy because you don't really have an army with Stukov, so there's really not anything you're losing out on by putting your calldowns on a control group right away. Again, I'm getting place this, max supply, get some more overlords. That's really all you have to worry about here. And I'm just going to make sure my rally point changes over here. This is almost done. So we'll get this. And I'm constantly building things, or constantly upgrading out of my civilian compound, thus allowing me to get the most out of my infested civilians, which is like the bread and butter of your build. They're the thing that gets you the most DPS when it comes to just general pushes. Now you can still get a lot of other things going, which is, you know, massing units out of your barracks. But the first thing I do is this. Now that this is basically going to get finished up soon, I'm going to start working on some other upgrades. I'd like to get my...
Stop them, commanders!
What is it? It's the retinal augmentation and my plagued mutations. But just try to make sure that you see basically as much building out of all of your upgrading facilities as possible at any given moment. We're just using call downs as fast as possible. And now for this one, I will make a starport. Depending on the units that you go up against, you don't necessarily always have to have a starport, but it is helpful.
The enemy is draining the terrazine from the
just so that I can
gliders.
have something
we have to stop them. Go
to
on or not, your choice. Once the Belshire
see
gliders
the
terrazine is
cloaked
gone,
units.
they'll be dead. So try to
So now that I got that done, I will get my
If you
second.
have a heart, that is. Okay, the bots should be on their way back. I need that terrazine
engineering
commanders
bay.
for my
And then the other thing I like to do
experiments.
is have a location that actually has a camera hotkey set to, so that I can build bunkers and then move them forward. It's not absolutely necessary you have that on a specific location. You can just go ahead and build them in the front lines, and then hopefully, you know, you don't end up hurting yourself too much by losing bunkers, but it's never really the best idea. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm zooming in, stuff like this, so that I don't ever lose too much, because the second you unload a bunker, it loses all aggro. So that's actually really nice. It's a quick little trick you can do to ensure that you don't lose bunkers. Build some bunkers, build an overlord.
Seismic activity detected.
Move these
That can only
guys.
mean one thing. More geysers!
Over there. This guy here. These guys over here, one there, and one here, because we never finished clearing that. This is going to be done real soon. And I'm done with my compound, so I'm going to move that forward to ensure that there's less travel time for everything.
I never noticed those things floating around here before. I wonder where
that's
they came
done. We're going to
from.
make sure we clear out over here. And then the rest of it's just going to be like preemptively clearing areas. Building more bunkers. So now is about the time where you maybe want to start thinking about tanks. It's not absolutely necessary.
Bots are on their way,
You can
commanders.
do everything without
Please keep the
tanks,
little guys out
but
of
it
trouble.
does help a lot.
Your Zerg have evolved.
And continuing upgrades.
An apocalypse is ready for...
The enemy clearly intends to attack my bots. Don't let them do that.
Their claws.
At least my army has prior experience
Some
with
more
dying.
overlords. We'll drop this guy here.
Now this one.
My bots are taking
This guy
damage.
here.
Terrible,
We'll
terrible
start moving out.
damage.
Move him over here.
Eyes have entered combat without
Change rally points. Now that that's cleared, we'll go over here. Now, the thing that's really cool about making sure that you get overseers is it does add a lot of vision, thus making it a little easier for your tanks to get the most out of their attack range. Change my rally points to clear some more. And again, I want to clear things preemptively so that I don't have to worry about trying to push in with your bunkers. Now, it's totally viable to do so, and that's actually a really advanced strategy that actually works extremely well, but not necessary.
Your Zerg have bloodied their claws.
Things building, bunkers. So I know the next area that's going to be attacking is
And
over
the
here
race is
too,
on.
so
Which
I'm going to
bot will
build
make it back to me first? My money's on Gary.
Some
He always
bunkers
gets
over
the
there.
best oil.
Once we clear the next big attack wave, which is the next spot, we will
Your hive clusters, your allies have entered
build over
combat
here and over here.
Your Zerg have bloodied their
But right now, I really just want to make sure that I clear things. Build a few tanks. Move those over here. Build a couple turrets. That will help to make sure we get
Your
vision.
Zerg have mutated some minor
These
improvements.
guys are good there. So we're going to finish moving here, and then we'll move over
That's a
here.
good little bot. Welcome home. I missed you so much.
Now, where did my overseers go? Okay, I need to make sure these guys move over here and here. This is almost done. I'm going to save both of these for the next attack wave,
Dares to attack our
because I
base.
really don't want to lose any of my bunkers. Okay, now that's done.
The Death Fleet descends.
So we're pretty
upon
much
the
on
Stukov.
autopilot at this point. There's really nothing I have to get. I've got all my upgrades. He's already grid that for us, so that's pretty nice.
Your hive
So now we can
clusters
move... He's got that. So now we'll move some of our bunkers here. And here.
My apocalypse is ready.
There.
Hey, great job, commanders. My bots are safe and sound.
And move
Do you
these
do this
guys
sort of
over
thing often?
here. And now, like I said, we're on autopilot.
My
There's really
terrazine
less to
tanks
worry
are
about.
halfway full.
I'll change
Bill
my
Shear's
rally
being
points
really
for
generous
my
today. I
bunkers.
should
Or
really
sorry,
send
for
her a
my...
thank you card.
entered combat without
Actually,
you.
over here. Change the rally point for my factories. He could probably easily defend over
Some
there,
geysers
but
are
I
going
might
to
as
be
well go try to
opening
help
in a
him.
few moments. My bots can smell them.
Move these guys over here. Rally points.
Your Zerg
Overlords.
have bloodied their
And that's really all
cause.
we're going to work on at this point. Might as well use my cooldowns as fast as I can. There's really no point in sitting on them. And like I said, there's really no upgrades left except for the last little bits, but we're getting those as fast as we can. At this point, now let's change our rally point to here. Going out. Eventually, we will need to build some stuff over here, but, you know, knowing the map and knowing where to place the bunkers is actually a really good thing that you can do.
Sending out the best of my
For
bots. Well, best of what's
Stukov.
left, anyway.
And we're going to clear this map pretty darn quick. Already got this all saturated here. Make a bit more over here, but not too much. Now that I've got everything basically taken care of, I really don't have to build all of my bunkers
Enemies
at
are
home.
headed for my bots.
I can do other
Bunch of
things,
jerks.
but I'm watching this bunker here just to see if it gets too much aggro.
Your
I'll
base
go
is
ahead and
becoming
unload it
a
and put it right back in.
liability.
Now, if you unload it and then don't put it back in, you basically reduced all of the DPS of your bunker to basically nothing, and it's not really helpful. So unload it to get the aggro off it, and then immediately put your stuff back inside.
They're really doubling down on this living terrazine extraction plan. Maybe we should put a
Watch
stop
them
to
here,
it.
see if anybody's pulling too much aggro.
So I'm not
Nothing's
saying you
happening
have
right
to,
now.
but if you want to, free that Belshire
And
glider
we
I
get a
mentioned.
few more
You don't have all
tanks,
day.
but that's really about it.
Your hive base have entered combat without you.
Might as well work on my defensive upgrades. As soon as we finish this next attack wave, we'll go ahead
Your
and
hive
move those
clusters,
bunkers probably
your
over here.
allies have entered combat without you.
And watching things to make sure we don't get too much aggro. If you ever see it go into yellow, you probably want to
Your
unload.
allies have entered combat.
Fortunately, there was
Your
a
base
lurker
is
there,
becoming a liability.
so wasn't going to be able to do anything about
Your
that one.
allies have entered combat without you. Your Zerg have bloodied their cause.
Must be over here.
Your allies have entered combat
you.
without you.
There.
My bots are heading back to base.
That's
Be
that
careful.
one.
Commanders, it's a jungle out there.
This is done here, so let's go ahead and move these guys here.
Your Zerg have bloodied their cause.
We are really close to
Can't
max
believe they were
supply.
extracting terrazine from those things. Why didn't I think of that?
So now I can move these guys as well. Oh wow, there's
Your
still some here.
Zerg have
Let's drop
bloodied
this.
I call this the apocalypse.
That's where the apocalypse stuff's in handy.
Your Zerg have your allies. Hostile forces are approaching
Now
us.
this is this attack wave, that'll die really quick.
Your Zerg.
Kill this. I like full clears.
Your allies have entered combat.
Now we have
without you.
12 more supply, so that's either 3 more bunkers or 4 tanks. So you gotta decide what I want to do.
Allies have entered combat without you.
Grab these guys. Go here. Now, depending on how well you clear the map, you can actually make your bunkers here and here. And then you can move all of these bunkers forward. But if not, that's usually well I'll make the bunkers here. But I gotta tell you, unless it's like a really, really difficult mutation, you're probably gonna be fine no matter what you do. So I'm actually gonna move all of this forward. Turrets as well. Tanks. Up here. Let's grab these guys.
Good news, Commanders.
Forward.
My bots have brought me
3, 4,
Terrazine.
5.
Well, it's good news for me.
Grab you guys. Go
I've got
here.
almost all the Terrazine I need. Keep it up, Commanders.
This is off what saturated there. We'll move these tanks here, and we'll make my last 3 tanks and 4 tanks and put them there. And so now that we've gotten here, I'm just going to change my rally point to this area right here, thus making it a lot easier for me to clear everything I need to clear. And I really could probably kill off some SCVs at this point because I really don't need them, but we're pretty much done.
All alone in the depths of space.
Yes, Diamondbacks are the best. No, that was a joke. Jokes. Diamondbacks are not. I mean, they work. They're a fun unit, but they're not exactly the best. So I'm going to go ahead and return some. And then we really don't need to do anything with our call downs, so I'll probably just drop them here or something like that. Go ahead and kill off these SCVs. We have way more than we need, so let's go ahead and I don't know, just bring them over here.
With a box of scraps, so I'd appreciate it if they came back intact.
Like I said, I really don't need anything. I really don't need all this gas either.
I see you, enemy scum! They're going to attack my bots, Commanders. Yes, sir.
Like I said, really not much left to do. Let's actually drop these guys over here.
Your hive cluster is
I call this the apocalypse.
And we are ready to go. Nothing left to worry about. I'll actually move this over here.
Your allies have entered combat without you, relying on me to protect you. Of course.
So let's just kill a bunch of stuff here.
Your
I might as well build tanks with all the supply I'm getting. That's probably the best use, especially since it's a ground comp.
Your allies have entered combat without you.
Let us see what additional infestation can do.
But like I said, very little left to do here. Move them right here, I guess. I might as well drop the Alexander.
The Alexander flies again.
But as soon as I get extra supply, I might, like I said, I'll build tanks.
You scared me. Oh, that's just great. You not ready to go?
Come on home, little bots. The Commanders will protect you.
This is crazy.
More tanks!
Your hive cluster is besieged.
Let us see what additional
These guys put all that stuff
can
there.
do.
I find your lack of defenses disturbing.
Like I said, not really much left to do on this one.
The Death Fleet has arrived.
And this is probably what you're going to find a lot of times with Stukov, is if you get enough things preemptively, you really don't have to worry about a lot. Now, this, again, was an easy Expo. There's also ones where I don't know, this kind of feels a little bit more like a defensive mission than necessarily an offensive mission. But we can definitely do some videos for basically offensive ones where you want to push with your bunkers.
Double the infestation, double the power, yes?
But the one thing I've said, and I said it earlier, was that if you end up, you can unload your bunkers to reduce the amount of damage or aggro that that your bunker takes. But if there's an AoE spell, you're still going to hit your troopers that you unload, and you're still going to have an issue with
Their insolence will be punished.
you maybe still losing that bunker. So there's certain times where you're not going to be able to do anything about it, but as long as you have enough DPS, you should be able to clear everything anyways. Anyway, so that's Stukov. Not really too much to say other than, like I said, get upgrades. You want to make sure that there's something being built out of every single one of your upgrading facilities until they're done, and then once they're done, it's all about bunkers and tanks.
I'm sorry, Belcher.
I'll show the score screen, and then please make sure, yeah, right. Please make sure to leave a comment below, subscribe, and hit that like button. But Stukov's a very good commander. The only thing that he really struggles with is propagators and transmutation, because you really need your infested to do lots of work. And if you, hey, what up, tax cut? And if you end up having propagators, you can't do enough DPS to kill a propagator fast enough, and well, transmutation, they just die so quick. Anyways, thanks so much for watching.